Hello and welcome to the second installment in our SuperNEC Grand Tour. Yesterday I showed you how to work with the input interface a bit, and today I'm going to be just explaining these menus up here and just covering sort of the important things. I'm going to be leaving out obviously the file and the view part because those are pretty self-explanatory, but I'm going to jump straight into it with the edit menu. These are pretty normal, but here remove loads, remove source, remove coupling. So that's pretty self-explanatory as well, but it's useful. And jumping straight down to here, you can see here is an assembly option. You can go on here, I'm just going to show you. You can actually view the code of the assembly. So just give it a minute. There we go. So you see here, we see our categories again, subcategories. And here's the MATLAB code that's created every assembly. Later on I'll be showing you how to customize certain codes to what you would like them to be, or how to actually add code. Make your own assembly if that's what you'd like to do and you feel like adding something easily to the actual SuperNEC environment. But for now, just showing you where it is. If you know how to use it, please go on ahead. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you is very important. It is the simulation settings. Unfortunately, it's weirdly placed in the edit menu. We're actually planning on creating a nice toolbar that just has simulation settings here, for example. But for now, let's just walk you through it. Once again, I'm not going to go into full detail because I actually am doing a video on it tomorrow where I'm going to go insanely in depth into the nature of the simulation. But here we go, here it is once again. You can set up frequency ranges, add radiation patterns, you can see the currents and charges in your assembly. External excitations, add that onto there. Here's all your options, tomorrow we'll be covering them in depth, so look out for that video. Now I'm going to go into the add option. So we already worked with this going on to antennas, and that's how we got our LPDA in the video yesterday. But I just want to back it up quickly and go into structures. So here are the number of structures that have been created using I want to call them primitives or elements like wires. So basically you can add like a cone, cylinder, anything you really like to your antennas, and I just think that could be useful a little later. Let's back it up again. And now I'm going to be moving on to primitives. So you can add a wire, plate, cylinder, load, source, and under network you'll see here you can add a 2-port network or transmission line. They'll obviously have some default values once again if you wanted to add it. Oh, okay, hold on. Let's just go to a lower grade. I'm just going to touch this. There we go. There we go. And here obviously you have the segment of wire, you've got a plate, cylinder, got a load, source, and under network, that's where you're going to be adding your transmission line and 2-port networks. Let's go on to here, ground plane. So if you want to add a ground plane to your design, you're going to have to specify what type it is. Perfect is obviously your ideal ground plane. Finite is using the Fresnel coefficients, and Sommerfeld is using the Sommerfeld integrations. And then after that you can specify what you'd really like to add here. If you'd like to see more detail on any of the things I'm mentioning here, please do comment down below. We read every single one. Okay. And now we go on to simulate. Simulate, this is basically the same as this button down here. It runs the simulation. So, for example, if I say simulate, I'm going to save it quickly. Just under LPDA menu. There it is. Save it there. And okay, I'm not going to really cover this right now. Okay, so that's how you simulate from the menu here. And write a SNEC file. You can see when you press simulate, you basically automatically have to save it as a file. So that's pretty much it. You can write it ahead of time here if you'd really like to. Check structure, view output. Not really something used often, but you can explore that. Options, you can go onto the renderer and change the settings up here. The checker limits is quite useful if you just want to sort of set up errors and warnings for your own specific design. So you can basically, it'll give a nice pop-up every time it exceeds certain values that you can specify, customize as you want. I'm just going to leave it on the default. View, I said I was going to be ignoring, and I meant it. So you can basically just add whatever you'd like here. We're not going to touch too much on that. So tools, network design is still in its beta version, so I'll be doing an update on that once it's been fully developed. But what I really want to show you is a cute little thing here called the EM Toolbox. So it has some conversions that you can work with if you're just wanting to do a quick calculation, some basic EM that'll do the properties of antennas, some physical calculation, propagation calculations. So it's just pretty handy to have here. And lastly, here's the help menu. So we do have some documentation available for you so that you can actually go through it, and maybe if you're struggling to figure it out, you're a student, or maybe it's your first time working with simulation software of any kind. We even have some videos here that I'll be updating in my own time later on. But feel free to go through this as you please. There's a lot of resources that we've tried to include in this, even though it is new software. I'm going to call that it for the menus. Tomorrow it's going to be full-on simulation settings, and we're going to be going quite in depth there because I feel like that's going to really be the crux of what you're going to be using SuperNEC for. Is you do want to see the results, you do want to see how deep you can go into your design and what's going wrong, troubleshoot certain aspects of it. So hopefully you're enjoying this series. We'll be covering 2 more videos, I think, after this, and if we missed something, comment down below. And as always, subscribe to the channel. It's encouraging to see that some people might be interested in SuperNEC. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!